The Duke and Duchess of Sussex have completely lost their composure this time. In a media interview, Prince Harry was visibly emotional and let his guard down. He opened up about his feelings of grievance, lashing out at the British royal family for treating him unfairly. He even expressed that not even his closest family members seemed to care about his safety and well-being. Perhaps because the past 2 years have been particularly stifling, Harry chose not to hide his emotions on camera, opting instead for raw honesty. He even went so far as to say that he's worried his father, King Charles, might not have much time left. Due to the unusually blunt nature of his remarks, British media have called this interview one of the most iconic clashes between the press and the royal world. But for Harry himself, this so-called defining moment came with a great deal of personal pain. On Friday, May 2nd, the Court of Appeal at the Royal Courts of Justice in London dismissed Prince Harry's appeal. After 5 years of legal battles over his level of security protection in the UK, he ultimately lost the case. Here's a brief recap of how it all started. When Prince Harry and Meghan were full-time working royals, they received round-the-clock police protection funded by public money. However, in March 2020, the couple decided to step down from their senior royal roles and move to the United States. Following this, the UK Home Office tasked the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, the body responsible for royal security, with making a decision, and they ruled that Harry and his family would no longer be entitled to 24/7 police protection. This decision didn't sit well with Harry. Although he and Meghan hired a private security team in the US, that team didn't have access to UK intelligence, creating what Harry described as serious safety risks for his family. He took the matter to court, attempting to overturn the Home Office's decision. He argued that he should still receive full police protection during visits to the UK, and he was willing to pay for it himself, without burdening taxpayers. However, in February last year, the High Court rejected his request. Harry appealed that decision, but the appeal has now also been dismissed. In the end, after 5 years of legal wrangling, it's as if the whole case was for nothing. Just hours after the court ruling, Prince Harry turned to the media to air his grievances. During the interview, he appeared upset, questioning why it was so difficult just to come home and have appropriate security measures in place. "Why does it feel like the whole world is against me?" he seemed to ask. Following the court's decision, Harry spoke to the BBC from California. He was visibly angry about losing the case, yet at the same time expressed exhaustion from fighting with the royal family and said he hoped for reconciliation. Regarding the security lawsuit, it's clear Harry is dissatisfied with the outcome. He now faces £1.5 million in legal costs. He also revealed that he was shocked to learn a royal representative, allegedly Sir Clive Alderton, King Charles's private secretary, was involved in the Royal and VIP Executive Committee. Harry accused the royal family of interfering with the legal process, claiming their involvement influenced the court's decision and ultimately led to his defeat. "As far as I know, the interference came from within the royal family. My father holds all the power, he's incredibly influential, and everything was handled through him," Harry said, portraying himself as a victim of those in power. He implied that he doesn't want to follow in his mother Princess Diana's tragic footsteps. "I don't want history to repeat itself, but through the court's ruling, I've come to realize that some people do want history to repeat itself." Although Harry has publicly criticized the royal family on many occasions, the royals have rarely issued direct responses. However, possibly due to the implications for judicial fairness, the palace made a rare move this time and stated in response. Buckingham Palace issued a brief statement denying any interference with the court ruling. All these matters have been thoroughly and carefully reviewed by the courts, and each time, the same conclusion was reached. A friend of King Charles revealed that royal involvement in the case would have been unconstitutional, and it would be impossible for him to have done so. On a personal level, what frustrates and unsettles him is the Duke's failure to respect this principle. The late Queen Elizabeth II had written to the government during her reign, requesting continued security protection for Harry and Meghan when they were in the UK, but her request was denied. Therefore, Harry's belief that his father could resolve everything is seen as absurd. Harry's supporters, on the other hand, argue that his father doesn't care about his family or should never have intervened. When it comes to the royal family, one cannot avoid discussing Harry's relationship with his relatives. Harry stated that the security issue is at the heart of his conflict with his family, openly addressing the strained relationship between his father and the rest of his family. "He's extremely angry, and I don't know what he will do next," Harry said. He clarified that it's not that he doesn't want to return to the UK. "I love my country, I always have, even though some people have done things in this country. But I miss the UK, I miss certain parts of it. It saddens me that I can't take my children to see my homeland." However, at the moment, he cannot do that. He expressed a desire to first reconcile with his royal relatives. "I can't imagine taking my wife and children back to the UK. There are so many differences between me and my family, and some people will never forgive me for writing that book. I hope to reconcile with my family. Continuing to argue is meaningless, life is precious. I don't know how much longer my father will live, but because of the security issue, he won't speak to me anymore. But it would be nice if we could make peace." Harry has signaled a desire for reconciliation, but many netizens are not buying his attitude, with many hoping he would just keep quiet. "After Harry's interview came out, I honestly felt it was hard to put into words. Not only did Harry air the family's dirty laundry in his memoir to gain attention and money, causing harm to his family, but now he's playing the sympathy card, making it hard to believe it's all genuine." However, despite all that is said, the main issue Harry is facing remains the UK government's refusal to provide extra security when he and his family return to the UK. In addition to calling on King Charles to help resolve the matter, he also urged the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary to intervene. Even after losing the case, he urgently wrote to the Home Secretary, requesting an immediate review of the judgment to assess its fairness. This gives the impression that everyone but Harry is wrong. In Harry's view, the reason he was stripped of his right to security was because the British royal family was punishing him. "Everyone knows that in 2020, they put us in danger, hoping that this risk would force us to return to the royal family. But when you realize that using danger to pressure us doesn't work, wouldn't you think to guarantee our safety instead? Whether it's the government, the royal family, my father, or my relatives, despite the differences between us, don't you want to ensure our safety?" His main point is, "I was born into the royal family, I've been a public figure since childhood with no choice, and ensuring my safety is the royal family's responsibility to me." In the end, Harry emphasized again that his only hope is to ensure the safety of his wife and children while in the UK, and that he can only rely on his family to protect them. Because his comments were so direct and filled with points of contention, every media outlet began covering Harry's interview. Even the judge who made the ruling was forced to speak out, acknowledging Harry's dissatisfaction, but stating that emotions are one thing and the law is another. The judge firmly upheld the original ruling, explaining that the change in security arrangements was due to Harry's circumstances, as he is no longer a working royal and no longer resides in the UK, so there is no justification for providing him with security. Moreover, even if Harry wanted to pay for his security, it was not allowed. If this precedent were set, anyone could pay to receive government-provided security, which is unimaginable. As Prince Harry spoke candidly with the BBC reporter, "I couldn't help but think of his mother, Princess Diana, whose infamous interview with this very media outlet was obtained through deceit. The scandal involving Martin Bashir, who gained Diana's trust through fraudulent bank documents and other despicable tactics, wasn't officially acknowledged and apologized for by the BBC until 2021. And now, Prince Harry has chosen to collaborate with the same media organization that once harmed his mother, which creates a striking and dramatic contrast that is truly thought-provoking. Meghan hasn't been doing much better either, as her recent appearance on someone else's podcast has been criticized for her pretentious behavior and her tone-deaf comments. The timing of the episode's release is also quite intriguing. It was published on the 14th anniversary of William and Kate's wedding. During the interview, Meghan appeared without makeup and insisted on introducing herself as the Duchess of Sussex. She spoke at length about her marriage, family, and career, becoming emotional at times and even shedding a tear. The Duchess explained that no one knows how busy she is, as she spends her days handling emails, overseeing new show edits, taking care of the kids, and so on, all of which keep her incredibly busy and hardworking. She also revealed that she created 2 email accounts for her 2 children, and whenever something interesting happens, she sends an email to them. When they grow older, she'll give them the passwords so they can see how much their mom loves them. She got so emotional while saying this that she ended up crying. While she was crying, I couldn't help but laugh. Oh my gosh, do you think that when your children hit their teenage years, they'll open up those email accounts and go through every message to confirm how much their mother loves them? Throughout the entire interview, the Duchess's core attitude was very clear. She doesn't want to prove herself to others anymore and just wants to focus on doing her own thing. However, the comment section of this podcast was filled with remarks like, "It's truly eye-opening how unaware she is. To be this unbearable is quite a talent. Congratulations to Meghan and the host. Happy 14th wedding anniversary to William and Kate. We all love you." The host should have asked her if she can find Sussex on a map. After reading through it, it seems like Harry and Meghan's already shaky reputation is going to sink even lower after this controversy. Abandoning the responsibilities they should have shouldered, living a life more luxurious than ordinary people, yet still wanting to regain the privileges they once had, and using their family as pawns for profit. If they continue down this path, the conflict between Harry, Meghan, and the British royal family is likely to escalate even further.